He was basing it on chip size. I would argue that we're still seeing that compounding effect, technology accelerating and doubling perhaps every 18 months. And if you look at a compound curve, we are on that vertical part of the curve. So we're having to adjust more and more and more rapidly, and that means more and more projects. In fact, projects, I don't think they need to be these big things. They need to be quick pivots. We need to be able to move quickly and be nimble and use a lot of testing and trial and error. If you think about fast thinking and you consider that the unconscious and slow thinking as the conscious, first I want to talk about the unconscious. The unconscious has a reaction time of about 200 to 250 milliseconds. So think about it as 2/10 of a second, 2/10 to 2.5 of a second between stimulus and response. And this is the traditional way of looking at stimulus and response. And that stimulus, think of it as the cue. If you've read Atomic Habits, he talks a lot about the cue. So I would say the stimulus and the cue in this context is the same. In between that space has often been assumed to be out of our control, partly because it was assumed that it was all in the mind. And I'm going to show what happens when we get to the physical area, that it's not. It's not in the mind. And that's the first major breakthrough in talking about this. I also would say that this stimulus response, it's more like muscle memory. Most people have heard of muscle memory and you've experienced it. Instead of muscle memory, think of it as nervous system memory. In other words, that same principle that's at play with teaching you to do something with the muscles, you can teach yourself to have that change with how you speak, facial expressions, how you interact with people. If you're doing video, your mannerisms, all of that can be thought of as in this realm of possibility for changing, because you can use nervous system memory. Same principles, deep practice is what it comes down to. And you can even to stop yourself from being triggered.